Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So as many of you guys can see behind me, I've got finally the black BMW E60 in my shop, on the lift, all set up, ready to go. Now, as many of you guys know, this car is due a complete overhaul and we are literally ready to go now. The last part we're waiting for should be arriving anytime now. And when it arrives, we're going to be getting on with this black BMW E60. But as many of you guys know, this car has been decommissioned, which means off the road. In the UK, we need MOT, which is basically like inspection. You need to tax it and insure it, which is something this one isn't, and it will not be going back on the road. This car has now been fully decommissioned and I do not look to be putting this car back on the road. Now this car holds a special place in me. Bearing in mind I had it even before YouTube. It's the car that built this channel. It's the car that many of you guys managed to find this channel for and be able to subscribe to, because this is the car you would have seen me doing a lot of videos on before the M5, before the other E60s, before anything else. This was the main channel car. So that's one of the reasons this car holds a special place with me in my heart. Not only that, this car was with me even before YouTube. And obviously this car served me very, very well throughout my time before obviously I made it to where I am today. And I'm very, very grateful for every single one of you that have sat here and watched every video and watched this car be part of that, of the building of this channel. Because bearing in mind when we started this channel 3 years ago, we are where we are today based just from this one car. So do bear that in mind, guys. This wasn't a whole heap of cars. This was just really one car that made this channel so successful for E60s, E90s, and obviously the E63. And I'm really, really grateful for that. Now, many people are wondering what the plans are with this car. Well, I can tell you right now, we have new power steering reservoir. We have a new coolant expansion tank. We have new oil cooler gaskets, new oil filter housing gaskets. We've got a new coolant flange to go on as well. We've got a new lower radiator hose. As many of you guys know, that was a problem with the E63 and it was leaking, and I didn't want to take no chance on this, so we're going to be overhauling that. We've got all new brakes to put on this car as well, which are nice M-Tech ones, which are all drilled and grooved, the same as you saw on my E63. It's the same ones going on this as well. We've got all new parts to do on this. We've even got our whole LCI conversion that I know many of you guys are looking forward to as well, which we're going to be doing on this. We have a whole heap to do on this car. Now, bearing in mind, this is not going to be a fast project and I'm not going to rush it, because I want this car perfect by the time it actually comes to finishing it. Because as I said to you, I do not want to be driving this car ever again. It's decommissioned, it's had its time, it's served its purpose, and it served it very, very well. Now, bearing in mind, I did purchase a new water pump and thermostat for this car. But then when I had it on the lift, I actually checked the stamp on the water pump itself and the thermostat. Now, when I actually checked it, it actually come up from the April 2014. Now, bearing in mind, this car is only 2006, which means the water pump thermostat was actually changed at some point in its life, which, as many of you guys know already, many of you were like, check your water pump, this, that, the other, which I knew there was an issue with the water pump on this car. After checking the date, it was changed in 2014. Now, when I go on the MOT history, which I'll show you right now, you can see the mileage isn't really that bad. You've got to remember this car's on 170k, so I reckon it was changed about 130k, 110k possibly, around in that time in 2014. So I'm in two minds whether I should change the water pump and thermostat on this or not. Bearing in mind it's on 170k, I bought this on 130, 138k, something like that. So this is why it's quite shocking. It was off the road for quite a long time after they had the water pump done. And I do know the reason why that was, because the old owner actually contacted me and actually owned it on finance, and he actually drove up a curb and smashed all the strut to pieces. They're waiting for that to get repaired, and that's why it was off the road for so long. I actually purchased this car in, I believe, 2019. So it wasn't done too much after I bought it. So that's why I'm in two minds about whether I should change. Now, bear in mind, I do have the new water pump thermostat here, Handheld water pump, and I've got the Bear, Mal thermostat. So I've got them both. But I'm just in two minds whether I should or shouldn't change it. And what I'm thinking now is to hold off, keep the water pump thermostat, and check the one on the 6 Series. Because bearing in mind this one may have had a new one in 2014, doesn't mean to say the 6 Series hasn't. If that one hasn't, I don't want to waste it on this one, which has already been replaced, because it's not an old one. when I could actually put it on a 6 Series, which that one could actually be from new, and I could put a new one on that car because I haven't got no history of that one ever having it changed. But this one, seeing the dates on it, I don't think it was changed that many miles ago, and I'm only on 170,000 miles on this car as it stands. So I don't really want to be changing something that could have already been changed only 70,000 miles ago. Because bearing in mind this car is not going to be driven again, and even if it did, the water pump's still got a lot of life left on it. So that's why I'm in two minds about changing it. But everything else we are going to be doing. I've obviously got to polish it, use cutting compound on it. I've got to do all the brakes. I did all the control arms and the tie rods on the front on this. And that was before I even had my shop, I did all them. I have got to jack them up and obviously torque the control arms up because they haven't been done yet. Because obviously they were on my quick jacks, so I've got to lift them up to the ride height and torque all the bolts down. That's not a problem. We will be doing that as well. I've got to polish it, use the cutting compound, clean up the interior a bit. Obviously get a new rear door. I've managed to source a new rear door, and that is the part I'm actually waiting for, is the new rear door. And I think we're going to get onto that as the first thing, and get the door off and put the new door on. And I'm going to see if we could take out the glass and put the old glass in that door, because obviously it's tinted and the other one isn't. The guy did say to me it does come with the glass, so I'm going to have to take out the glass on the other door and put it on. But I found the exact same colour matched door for this car and everything, so that was an absolute achievement. We've also got to touch up on the mirrors, because the mirrors are a bit faded. Many of you guys know V60. The mirror under here, you know, they're just flaking off all the paint, and you know, we're gonna have to sand them down, try and respray them, make it look absolutely presentable. And I really, guys, I'm being honest, cannot wait to restore this car. I have been on everybody, and everybody knows me. Everyone's been asking me, oh, Dean, when are you buying a new car? And I'm like, I really cannot buy any other cars. I have to focus on this. Every time I put my mind and spirit into this car, another car, I go and buy another car, like I did with the 130i, and then I bought the E63, and then I had the Porsche before that, and it's just constantly on and on and on. I need to get this car done, so I've said I'm not buying no more cars right now, because this car, you know, really has a special place in me compared to all the other cars. I can tell you right now, the M5, the Porsche, none of them have the kind of place in my heart like this car does for me. This car has been on a lot of road trips with me. This car just holds very dearly to my heart. It was with me at very bad times, even before YouTube. It's been with me throughout my whole life, and I know many of you are thinking this is not a person, but the car is very sentimental to me because of what I've been through, and this car's been throughout the lot with me and didn't fail me once. And I've driven everywhere in this car, all over the country. I even went to Spain in it. It's been everywhere, this car, and it's never failed me once. And that's one of the reasons why I really need to overhaul this car and keep it. And I don't want to put it back on the road, because after I've overhauled it, I will be quite worried that, you know, someone will hit it or damage it, and I really don't want that. This car has to be respected, for me at least, and I have to respect the car for what it's achieved me. You know, this is regardless of the Porsche, regardless of having the M5, regardless of the E63, regardless of any of them cars. None of them cars matter to me right now. This car matters to me, and this car I have to restore. And I've been telling myself that, and I've stayed focused on that and focused on that. You know, even my missus is like, oh, why bother? Break it. You know, it's not worth. Everyone tells me, break this car, break it. It's not worth repairing because of the mileage. Break it and keep the parts in my shop so I've got spare parts. And the answer is no, I will not break this car. As much as it seems viable to do that, because it was sitting out there, I said I will restore this car, and that is a guarantee. I have to do that for my own self, because breaking this car would actually probably kill me and destroy me, because as I said, this car and me have a very special bond. More of a bond than me and the M5 or the Porsche or any car for that matter, any car I've ever owned. Me and this car, I have to just restore it for my own dignity, and to know, you know, for me, it's a big achievement to restore this and to just have it sitting in my shop. This is the car I want sitting here in my shop. You guys can idolize it. You guys can see it all the time on the channel, and you guys can want to have your BMW 60s exactly the same as this. And it also shows if you put the right amount of attention and detail and, you know, care into these cars, you can make them absolutely fantastic and beautiful. And that is what I aim to do with this. I want to tidy up all the stone chips. I want to do all the lights. Like I said, I want to get the wheels, you know, everything spotless. I'm going to put new tires on it. I'm going to do everything to it so it's literally a pristine BMW E60. And after I've overhauled everything on it, we will start on the engine as well. I want to get everything done on it completely because the car has no use on the road. So even if I take the engine out, it can sit. Yes, it's going to affect me on other cars, but they can wait because this car is more important than all the others. So I hope many of you guys are actually happy to actually see this now in here. And as I said, the next videos you will be seeing is me moving on to this black E60. As I said, do let me know if you do want to see anything in particular on this car, on the engine, because this car, I'm willing to do anything on it because of the fact being, it's not something I have to use as my daily, and I don't mind it sitting here. If you guys can give me something that you need help with, I can show you on this car because I will be pulling the engine, or I will be start stripping down bits of the chassis to show you how to repair that, because this car I really want perfect. And as I said, I'm not going to go any more about it being my pride and joy and how, you know, close it is to me. You guys can already see that this car for me is very special, and that's the end of it. Over all the cars, this is the only car I care about restoring, and the only car I've ever cared about restoring. You know, even when I left it, before I had my shop, I said to my missus, I have to finish this car. You know, it's regardless about I'm not using it. It's a waste of money. We're storing the car just to sit. But for me, it's more than the money. It's more than just a car. I know some people do see it like that it's just a car. But for me, it's a lot more than that. So I ain't going to keep you anymore, guys. Do let me know if you want to see anything particular on this car or on the engine. And I will be pleased to actually do it on this car because I'm always willing to take a punt on whatever it is you guys are having problems with, and I'm always willing to show you guys as well, especially for a car, that if I can make it better or I can help improve your engine somehow, I will do that using this car, because as many of you guys know, this is the feature of the channel. This will always be the feature car of this channel, and I'm very, very proud to be finally restoring this car, and we're just waiting on one part, and I will be getting onto these videos ASAP. So thank you very much for watching, guys. It's BMW Dr. Dean here, and goodbye.